I wanted to try something with you guys. So if you've got something heavy, not even heavy, I mean, it could be, I've got a light bulb that you can hold out. I want you to just hold it out in front of you for a second. So everybody hold out whatever that medium heavy object is, or light object, even like a small weight, small book. But as you're holding it, don't put it down. What's happening? It's getting harder, right? Over time, it's like, oh, this is becoming more and more of a burden. My shoulders getting tight. My arms starting to shake. I'm having to readjust my body. I'm trying all these things to get comfortable, but I can't get comfortable, right? So you guys are holding this out. Oh man, it's really starting, it's feeling heavier. Would you guys say that it's starting to feel heavier? It's starting to feel a little harder to hold? Don't move it up, don't move it down, just keep holding it. Just, you're carrying this. It gets harder to hold. Feels heavier and heavier and heavier. Now what do you want to do? What is your natural inclination? This isn't a hard question. I'm not trying to trick you guys. The answer is putting it down. Take a break, and then once we take a break, not so heavy again, right? I can pick that up, then it starts to get heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier. Put it down, shake it out, right? And the thing is, I want you guys to think about that thing you're holding as a burden, a problem, a challenge that you're facing. We hold on to our problems, we hold on to our burdens, and what happens is we want to hold on to them and hold on to them. We're struggling with them, we're fighting, and we're just going to do this until it's solved. But it gets heavier and heavier. So usually it's not that the problem's getting bigger. The problem isn't getting heavier. It's not becoming more of a problem. It started out the same way it ended. You know, it's that we lose the endurance of being able to hold on to this for that long. And on top of that, over time, our perspective of this has changed. My perspective of when I first picked it up changed from when I was holding it after, 3 minutes. It didn't take long for me. But I mean, if you think about it, some of the burdens you've been holding, it's always been there and you've been trying really hard to hold on to it. And so when we put down the problem and we're able to step away from it for a little while and shake it off, when we come back with a new perspective because we've changed. Does that make sense? We've adjusted, we've recalibrated. And now when we pick it up, it feels light again. And when we pick it up, when it's light, our perspective on the problem changes. And usually when our perspective changes, that's when we're also making better decisions. And putting it down is easier said than done, right? Do any of you guys relate to that? Problems, for the most part, will either resolve themselves or they do have solutions. What happens is, when we are thinking too hard and when we're too focused on what's going on, what we're trying to do is answer these questions and come up with solutions for these problems based on our history. So we're kind of going through our database. What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? Based on our experiences. And what happens is when we're doing that, when we're doing all that thinking, and I hate kind of fully categorizing because this is oversimplification. It's not. We use our whole brain. We don't just use parts at a time. But to an extent, it's a left brain thing. So what we're doing is we're turning off the part of our brain that's creative and is able to make new ideas out of, not nothing, but out of a compilation of our experiences, as opposed to saying, okay, what have I done in the past when I've had this experience? And what that requires is for us to step away, whatever that means for you. And usually when I talk to friends or myself, my husband, clients, about stepping away, it's something that engages our body, it engages our heart and our soul. It's something that can consume us fully so that our mind has to stop. Something that would consume your focus and your attention. Going for jogs, any kind of exercise, being surrounded by people who require a lot of engagement, playing with your dogs, something outdoors, something that really stimulates you and feeds your heart and your soul, something that makes you feel really good. Mine was anytime I'd hit the mats. It's like my compass. Anytime I was training in judo or jujitsu, it forces me to step out of the rest of my life for that moment and really focus on my current present state. And in doing that, it gets us out of our head into our heart, and in that place I'm able to be calm and centered, and I can see that problem over there from an objective point of view.